It's a review session. This is a review session for our debate that held on Tuesday under the Freeze Live, where we debated against Team Atiku and Team Ashwaju. And the topic we discussed was no other but ability to mobilize. That's for the candidate vying for the office of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, joining me tonight is Obinna. Obinna is joining me from Benin. Obinna, can you say hi to our audience?
Good evening. Good evening,
How are
everybody.
you
Welcome.
over there in Benin today?
Well, Benin is calm. Benin is calm.
You know,
and
you know what we have in the country today? Today is the second year anniversary of the NSAS. Oh, very painful one when we had a situation of the young ones clamoring for a change in the security apparatus. Hence, they named it NSAS. But what they got at the end of it was more pains. You know,
yes.
the claims of some individuals died, even though the government keeps saying nobody was killed. But today you can see that in Lagos, the youth came out to mark second anniversary of that incident, and it was everywhere on social media, much more on Facebook. People were saying we will never forget, and all that, even conventional media, and we are sure that print media will come with stories relating to the NSAS. So, was there anything in connection to that took place in Benin?
Yeah. From my end in Benin, I can't actually say that there was any gathering as such, but one thing that is assured is that every individual today who I came across, there was none who didn't remember to say, may the souls of heroes that died in the NSAS protest on 20th October, may their soul rest in peace. In fact, that was the first of agenda that I witnessed personally today in Benin and my working environment. You see, before we started seeing that you just spoke about the shootout and that is the brutality from the police on those who were trying to remember the souls of those who died. Well, we pray that their souls continue to rest in peace and that the effort made by them will be realistic from 2023 election when our able principal, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi, comes in power.
Yes, that's it. We pray that the coming election will be the beginning of new things to happen in this country. Well, it's pathetic what happens in the country. We keep clamoring for a government that will, even if they are not proactive all the time, let their response time be swift. You know, unfortunately, we have a situation where the youth are still complaining that 2 years after NSAS incident, that the government of the nation has not done anything to implement, to meet the demands made by the youth. Yes, SARS has been disbanded and we will have SWAT, but there are some other demands that the youth brought forward, which, looking at it morally, are not really bad. 2 years down the line, that is 24 months. Nothing can be said to have been done about it. And it's also showing out that in the last, since 2012 to date, experiencing this kind of a flood that sweep both humans and properties away, and it happens virtually every year. Up to today, there is no fear of government serious action towards preventing or preparing very well for a flood annually. It's going to happen again next year because the dam in Cameroon will get filled up and they will have to open it up to flow out. There are reports coming here and there, information that Nigeria will have to build certain dam that will take care of such a flow of the flood. But then nothing is happening. But you see, 10 years, this is the 10th year, 2012 to date, is 10th year, it's happening every year. And no response. No response. This time around, even the houses of the rich among us are also affected. Okay? Even corpses in the graves, corpses in the cemeteries were exhumed by a flood, and they just so both the living and the dead are in trouble in this country. The living and the dead cannot even rest in peace.
Exactly.
That's the country that we live in. We live in.
That's the country we find ourselves in now.
We take it back to our topic for today. We're expecting to have our colleagues who were the debaters in the last that the Freeze Live show, where we log it out, Suwaju and the Timatiku. They can come online because we will have to start our review immediately.
Yes,
why they are coming online? The topic today, the topic today is ability. What is the ability of our respective contestants, candidates to mobilize? And for Team Obi in the last debate, we looked at this ability to mobilize in two major perspectives. One is the ability to mobilize before the election, that is the campaign, to get people to believe in your ideology and your movement and the party, and align with you, both in the cities and in the rural place. And some people say Labour Party don't have structure, but we keep explaining to them, that the people are the structure themselves, and the people have woken up to say we need to take back this country and build it, because we don't trust these old politicians to build. They have failed us over and over. They've disappointed us when we bestowed our trust on them. Now we have to do it ourselves, and that's the major thing. Now again, another aspect of this mobilization is mobilization into office, getting the right hands. It's in history printed, that the current administration, when they came in board in 2014, they spent 6 months to build a cabinet to run a country. If you have a company and you don't have executive of the company for just 1 week, you know what it means when it goes to your profit and loss. But this is a country, and it ran for 6 months without cabinet. We don't have to go far because we experience it and we know what it is like. However, what will it take, Peter Obi, to mobilize people to man sensitive offices so that the economy, the country will start running from day one? And Team Peter Obi was able. We are sure, we are convinced, and we are assuring Nigerians that Peter Obi will start from day one. He will get the right people, a combination of talent and ability, to put them in respective offices where they will perform, where they have experience, where they have the knowledge, and where they are trained to deliver the expected. So that's where we are. We are hoping that our debaters will join. We expect to see Brume here, and we might also have Peter. Any other member of the Team Obi live can also join, and we'll discuss this so that we educate Nigerians and they know what to expect. Peter Obi has said, I will be in charge. I'm quoting him now. He said, I will be in charge. As the president, the buck stops at your table. And he says he will be responsible. He will be responsible for what he does, for what his government will do. That's the man that wants to match words with action. And he's not there to play blame game. He is there to do the job immediately he's sworn in. Okay. let's have your contribution while we wait for Rume and any other person that can join. We also expect members of the audience to bring up questions and to also participate in this review section. Thank you very much. Obinna. Obinna,
okay,
have some comments?
Thank you very much. I don't know if Mrs. Uche is online, though her screen is not visible. But
Yeah, she
I know
can speak.
she has her audio on. I don't know if she has anything to quickly say to us.
Yeah. Good evening. Good evening. I'm
Yeah,
sorry
good
you can't
evening,
see
Mr. Uche.
me.
How is it over there in Sweden today?
Yeah, it's good apart from the cold and but it's good. I mean, everyone is suffering from the inflation and everything. So,
Well,
but
some people will say it's better to have code than to have a tear gas canister being thrown at you. You know, some people went
you're
through that
right.
ordeal today in Lagos.
Yeah. Yes. You actually did join you from the beginning. I just entered now, so I don't know what have been said. It's so
Okay.
sad
Wow.
that from the end SARS, the Nigerian government thing, they still haven't learned anything, because if they can still do it, it's really sad. Like, these people are not carrying arms, having how will I say, they are just innocent people saying, does that, is there any need for the tear gas and the every other that happened? So
Yeah,
it
well,
needs,
we were not at the venue, but just in line with your thoughts, one would wonder, when will it be in this country that policemen will use moral suasion to talk protesters into good conduct? That is on the assumption that they are not conducting themselves very well. But here, from what we saw, on the channels, television, and the Rise television, the protesters cannot be said to have been conducted themselves in a manner that will cause harm to the society. Rather, so even if they had a coffin, like a station reported, okay, I didn't see the coffin myself, but assuming they had coffin and they were carrying coffin and they wanted to put it at the center of the road, this is an assumption now, okay? Is it possible that the security agents can go there without using canister and talk to them calmly and say, okay, fine, walk by one side of the road and pass through the key toll gate without causing any harm to the general public? I don't know when we'll get to that level, because these children were not reported to have attacked the police or to have thrown any object, but yet canisters were released.
Yeah, actually there were coffees, coffees that, you understand, it's just like I saw about 4, but not through. You will see that there's actually nobody inside, because it's smaller than trains. It's just a way of saying, speak their mind. But anyway, like you said, not there. But based on what we saw, they did it. There was no sign of identity for the police to do what they did. But all this same, this is why and we pray that people go out there to get their PVC and vote. That is it.
Yes.
As regards that. And then as regards the topic for Tuesday, from our team, we, like you said, we used to see it, and from the debate and other gather parties, which I don't want to mention, but the other 2 parties that claim to be, they really didn't bring up anything. Like, they were still repeating the same thing. Their principal says on TV, like, no structure and nothing. And at this point, I don't really know what we mean, we as obedient mean by structuring. I want to talk about that. We have with the NLC and every other people with the Labour Party, more people on ground. And I want to believe that these people spending money paying for their water, the banners and everything. I want to believe that on that day, wait for their votes to be counted. So unless if we know that is the the vote buying and everything that they mean, but I know with the way we are going, we will actually do it, because you won't expect me to spend and everything, and then on that day I will not. There was the need of spending my own money, plurally. And they don't know the danger that comes with support. Organic support, when you get organic support, it multiplies every day, every seconds. When you have when people have organic love for you in seconds, that's the danger that comes with organic, which they don't want to see, and that's what Peter Obi have. And we're going to pray, and my advice for the youth, that cannot really do anything. So all we can do is to just call, talk to people back home, and then help in our little way. But in terms of voting, people like me that won't come with vote, stay there to your vote. I mean, just stay there till they count your vote. And if you see, vote buying, or you know what I'm saying, just reach that you support, that you can reach to act. I want to believe that there should be some special, I don't know, even they can also contact us via this platform, So it's in terms of the mobilization, I don't know what they mean, but what it takes to win the election, and we are doing very well. We still have.
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. I want to ask, all right, when we talk about ability to mobilize, we are talking about mobilizing people, okay, but again, mobilizing resources, mobilizing capital, okay, because the development of a country, yes, it's about the people, but the people will not be the only resource that will be needed for a country to progress. You need other things. You need capital. Some will say revenue. You also need land, which we have. We need technology. Okay? We need knowledge. So, if we look at this, among these contestants, all these candidates, who do people think that have the ability to mobilize all these factors of production and factors of economic growth? If we give them the job of being the CEO of this enterprise called Nigeria, who amongst these can mobilize these factors that are extremely required to turn around this country and put it in the pedestrian of flourishing?
I think that's a very obvious one, that is Peter Obi, because obviously he cannot go to the US based on his code and what he did in the past, so he cannot enter the US just free. He's out of the way already. The Tinubu himself, we also know, is old, and that is a good thing for somebody to be old, But then I don't want to use that as before they come and say we are using somebody's old pray to be old. But when we old, we should know that when it's time to call it like that and talk to my children, and which is what we expect Tinubu to be doing by now power. And we know with this strength and with the kind of problem Nigeria has, is very active, that can be moving, that can move anytime, any day, and that he might have done some things when he was the governor. Cannot compare what he did to what other governors are doing. I think the president, and this is where I get upset when they say Lagos was built by him and all of that. Take the how will I say now, the glory from work. So I would just pick that he doesn't have the strength to work, to move, and then that can move anytime, any day, anytime, and the president that get a trace of corruption, you know. So most times, even when he's talking, he goes out of the point. How do you expect that kind of way to represent? They will just look at it like this guy, is he all right? You know. So the question you just asked is something that I've just, even my son can even, you know. So I think from those I'm only giving those two, like Atiku cannot go to the US, and I know even the other place that he can go, apart from Dubai, whenever he loses election, he goes to Dubai to relax, and we don't know country can he go. And my problem is if it happens that one of these two, which will get there, people will not take Nigeria seriously. Take us serious, because they already know that these people, if Nigeria can vote these old people, okay, upstate, so they won't take us. So we need somebody that when they go, even when Prince Peter Obi, when it comes to diaspora, you see how even when he went to Harvard, this lady that got the award from the Harvard even commended him. You know, the name is already this. He's already doing things even before being a president, and that's something that we now work in different countries. You know, something that we need. We need someone that will complement it, because we are too intelligent to have those two old men. And the president, because he's the one representing the country, they will categorize the whole Nigerians to be like when they go out. So for me, fully obedient, and I remain Peter Obi. Is it either Peter Obi or Peter Obi? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Mrs. Uche. It's important now because there is need for Nigeria to really connect, okay, and be well felt in the League of Nations as it is. The world is going through a serious challenge. As we know, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom just resigned her appointment after about a month of being elected and sworn in as a prime minister. And what was her reason? Okay, she said,
I think the network, I can't hear you. Okay. While we are waiting for him to come back,
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Is it possible you can hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Okay, sorry, I was saying that Nigeria needs to be positioned very well in the League of Nations. All right, the world is going through serious challenge right now. Yes, we are well aware. The Prime Minister of United Kingdom just resigned her appointment today, right? After just about a month of being elected and sworn in as Prime Minister of UK. And what was her reason? She did say that she is aware that she cannot deliver on the mandate for which she was elected. All right. Now, as much as this might be heartbreaking to the nation, it's also a good thing, because if you see that your competency does not match the required task at the moment, it's best you give way so that somebody whose competence matches the expectation can go in there. We don't see this happen much in Africa, and particularly in Nigeria. People don't honorably resign their positions, recognizing that their own competence has limitation, okay? And such limitation will not allow the desired assignment to be carried out at the moment, no matter how urgent that might be. That has led to a lot of damages to this country. And you can imagine that right now, our country is having this challenge. Instead of some people honorably saying, I cannot do this job, they will continue to hold tight and they sink the nation, all right? It's unfair. So now, we need people who have the competence. That competence and capability will be able to match the task that is facing our nation right now. And that is to tackle the issue of security. And to do this, you need to have the ability to mobilize people, to mobilize talents, to mobilize resources, to mobilize technology, even to mobilize international help, all right? It's not only on security. What about food security? You need to do that, okay? Fighting corruption, okay? Now, as I'm mentioning these things, I'm just remembering the video of Peter's broadcast. I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, when he went to Arewa Forum and he addressed the forum. He did mention quite a whole lot of things. And you could see a man who knew his what he was coming from, and who knows his numbers, as he was busy rolling out these things one by one, effortlessly telling the nation what he would do, you know, in the area of security, okay, and how he's going to do that, even though he did not mention them in nitty-gritty, but he was able to let the people understand very well that, come on, this is doable, all right? And he looked at education. He explained it, that this is what he is going to do on education. He looked at corruption. He explained that this is what he is going to do on corruption. Then the security was the one that impressed me most, when he talked about his approach, or his approach when he gets into power, on how to deal with security. It started giving people hope, even as he was talking, all right? So you can see a man who knows that he needs to mobilize people. That there, for the first time, we are seeing somebody saying that in all effectiveness, the police, Nigerian police, is going to be reformed. And you could see a practicable step-by-step approach, the strategy to doing that. Tonight, his vice presidential candidate, okay, Alhaji Ahmed Dati, was also on Channel Television, and he speak about security, and he mentioned the things that they are going to do. That's the team working together, who know where they want to take the country to, and who is
Mr. Tilo, sorry to interrupt. I just want to inform you that we have Brume on the line now. And
oh, wonderful!
I'm adding him.
Please bring Brume on. Okay, let him tell us things about the debate. Brume, it's good to have you. You are always putting lights to the house.
Hi, it's good.
Welcome,
It's good to be here too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been watching you from Instagram since, but apparently you couldn't see me. I thought I was going to be able to join from Instagram, but I realized that there was a special link later.
Okay. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have today here a review of our Tuesday debate under the freeze. Okay, and you were there. It was a brilliant outing. You put a very big show for the nation. Very informative. Thank you very much for that outing, I must say. And again,
thank you, Tochukwu.
You have opportunity right now to elaborate on the concept of ability to mobilize. I have tried before your arrival to put it in perspective. Okay, one, mobilization of people for campaign, both in towns and in the hinterland. All right, and the second one is to mobilize people and the resources after the campaign, and actually when Mr. Peter Obi becomes a sworn-in president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What we need to do is ability to mobilize. both human and material resources, technologies, international layer to turn around this country. Okay. So what do you think? What were you trying to educate Nigerians on Tuesday?
Yeah, so first, like right now, the most important thing to me is Peter Obi's ability to mobilize people for the election. But I'll touch on the other two first. One of the reasons why I support Mr. Peter Obi is, number one, his experience in the private sector, right? The private sector is basically a meritocracy. It's a place where you cannot be a placeholder, right? You have to have a function, you have to deliver it. If you don't deliver, you get fired. So for Mr. Peter Obi to perform so well that he sat on the boards of so many private entities, that he became the chairman of a bank, is just a testament to how good he is at managing business. It's a meritocracy, like I said before, right? You can see how successful his personal business dealings are. Mr. Peter Obi is a successful businessman. What does it take to be a successful businessman? You might not be the smartest person in the room, but you know how to get the people that can deliver the results that you want to see. So, when it comes to his, his ability to mobilize people, to take Nigeria forward, I have no doubt in his ability to do that, right? One thing that Mr. Peter Obi has is results. He has been a governor in Nigeria before, right? And honestly, I didn't really take note of Mr. Peter Obi's achievements because I didn't know how many challenges he had to overcome to achieve the things that he achieved. You can see how much debt governors accrue before they leave office. You can see how much Delta State is trying to borrow as a gift, as a parting gift to the state, right? I was looking at the debt profile of Anambra State in 2014 when Peter Obi left and 2020, right? Domestic debt was less than 3 billion when Mr. Peter Obi left. But in 2020, just 6 years later, it is 33 billion. How do we go from 3 billion to 33 billion with no notable improvement in infrastructure in the state? It's just a testament to how Mr. Peter Obi is able to manage resources, right? So, like I said, I have no doubt in his abilities, right? Now, when it comes to the election, right, I was trying to school Nigerians on the fact that mobilization has nothing to do with going out, paying people to come and cheer during rallies, right? Apart from paying, you saw the tactics that were employed in Lagos State, forcing people, market women, traders to close their shops and go and attend the APC rally. That's not mobilization.
Yeah.
Mobilization is simply, I gave two definitions on that day, right? I said it's a process, so you can't, it's not something that happens overnight, okay? It's a process by which you convert people who are passive, a passive group of individuals, to become active in politics, right? Now, Peter Obi did not just wake up yesterday and try to convince people to like him, right? We all began to notice Mr. Peter Obi in 2016 when he spoke on the platform. That was when people really took note of this man called Peter Obi. And his following has been growing for years. That's why the PDP saw him as a viable candidate in 2019. He had a following already, and they were trying to get access to that following, right? Now, fast forward to 2022, present day, right? The moment Mr. Peter Obi decided to run for president, he awakened a lot of people that have been listening to his message, right? So you see, this process did not just start now. It started a long time ago. So the moment he decided to run, he already had a following, right? But that's not all that happened, okay? I also said that mobilization is the process of developing a social relationship between two parties, one the individual and two the political party, right? So Mr. Peter Obi is running on the platform of the Labour Party. If you notice, all obedience today identify with the Labour Party.
Yes.
Okay. So now we have a relationship with them, and we realize, the Labour Party is the one party in Nigeria that came out of the aspirations of ordinary Nigerians. NLC, TUC. NLC and TUC basically account for, a very large population of Nigerian workers, civil servants, and then the TUC has a lot of private sector workers, right? So we have these people, right, whose yearnings and aspirations are represented by a party. Of course, they will identify with that party because the PDP or the APC, yeah,
Yes.
those parties have no values, right? It's basically the same set of people just jumping from place to place, from flag to from umbrella to broom, to contest and see how they can plunder resources, right? But the Labour Party is one party that has like a genuine following, right? And we've seen the effects of Labour in an election before, right? If you remember back in 2007 when Adams Oshiomhole contested for the governorship of Edo State, the reason why people turned out en masse is because he identified them as a comrade with Labour, with workers, right? And we all resonated with the person Adams Oshiomhole. I think he contested under the platform of the AC or the ACN or something like that, right? But then it wasn't the party, it was Labour. That mentality, okay, this is somebody who cares about workers, who's been fighting for us all this time. So let's come turn out en masse and vote for him, right? This is part of the spirit behind the obedient movement today. Not just the fact that people identify with Labour and the fact that, you know, for once we have somebody who really cares about the people, right? It's the man, Peter Obi himself, you know. Anybody who is a true follower and supporter would have actually gone to research the man, right? We ignore all of the noise left, right, and center, you know, about the fact that, hey, sometimes when he's speaking, he might quote a figure that is wrong, which I can contest because we're not perfect, right? I can read something in the paper today and I might misquote the figure tomorrow. It happens to me in the debates, right? That's why he says, go and verify. Okay, you go and verify and I'm wrong. He has never come out to say, hey, I was right. He admits and says, yes, sometimes you guys might fact check me and I'm wrong. But hey, sometimes it's because the figures I quote are based on a certain benchmark at that time. It doesn't apply when you fact check, right?
Yeah.
But generally speaking, looking at integrity,
His
right?
ideology.
His ideology, yeah. You know, when Peter Obi says, look, I did not take one kobo from Anambra State, you know, you have people scrutinizing Mr. Peter Obi left, right, and center. Opposition parties, anti-obedience, EFCC, the ICPC, and haters all over the world, right? And nobody can come up with a single allegation. None of Peter Obi's successors has come out to say, when I came into this office, I discovered that money was missing. None of them. No. What does that tell you about the man, Peter Obi, right? I mentioned before, you know, I looked at his achievements in Anambra State, right? The man built a university from scratch, teaching hospital from scratch, renovated a lot of schools, right? Built over 200 new classroom blocks, right? Renovated many health centers, built some hospitals from scratch. The Joseph Mwilo Heart Hospital, right? He constructed roads, right? The problem with Nigerians is that we like politicians who give them, you know, optical shows, right? Somebody paints a road black and calls the president and all the governors to come and commission a 2-kilometer road. And we're happy about that. Mr. Peter Obi did not overstate his achievements when he was governor. The road needs to be tarred. It gets tarred, no fanfare, tarred and done, right? I have a colleague in my office here in Toronto. You know, we're talking today, right? I called her. I said, hey, you are Igbo. Are you from Anambra? She said, yes. Do you have any comment about Peter Obi? And she said, oh, are you obedient? I said, yes. She said, look, the first time I realized that there was a different governor in my state was one time we traveled for Christmas and all the roads in my village were tarred. I asked her, sorry, is Peter Obi from your village? She said, no. But she's like, they went to their village that Christmas and all the roads were tarred. There was no noise, quietly done, with no fanfare, no commissioning. She said before, it used to take them from Onitsha to her village over 2 hours. It took them 30 minutes. Why? Because there was a new bridge. She never knew about this. Her dad didn't know about it. So he didn't go about, you know, inviting people to come and commission projects, right? If you remember, he was an APGA governor. So the PDP governor wasn't going to come and do PR for him, right? So he did his thing quietly and he left quietly, handed over 75 billion to the next governor and left without making noise. This is the reason why everybody today is questioning what are his achievements, what are his achievements. I tell them, go and study, go and check. You know, a few days ago, right, I decided on my own to say, let me even check some things myself, right? I began to Google Joseph Nwilo Hospital, Heart Hospital. I looked at the size of the structure. All those hospitals Peter Obi renovated or built, I looked at the size and the scale of those structures. I realized, okay, this is not even the regular classroom block type of hospital. We're looking at multi-story buildings. I looked at the state government secretariat that he built to bring all the ministries and parastatals to one place. It is not a small structure, right? And I'm like, why did this man not make more noise about his achievement? Why was he so quiet? Right? It's very simple, right? This is the kind of president that we need. Because elsewhere, in other parts of the world, governance is done quietly. Nobody calls everyone to commission a road or a bridge or a building. It's basic. That's the reason why he did not make noise about things like that. He makes noise about big achievements, like bringing the Sabmila's second largest brewery in the world to Onitsha. That's big. Make noise about supporting Innocent to start manufacturing vehicles. That's big. And even buying 1,000 vehicles for them. That's big. You know, make noise about, in fact, I didn't even realize that on Anambra State has a 55,000 barrel per day refinery there quietly, you know. So all of these things, right, have contributed to the mobilization the Labour Party has succeeded in achieving today. Not making noise, not paying people, not intimidating them to go. It is just simple, the message, the past record, and the philosophy. Very simple. And people are really, really tired of the old crop of politicians, and they are concerned that, look, if we allow a Bola Ahmed Tinubu or an Atiku to come back into government, right, after witnessing them by proxy, because Tinubu is the leader of the APC. They've been in power for the past 8 years. Nothing. There's nothing he's bringing to the table that he could not have brought as the leader of the party right now.
Yes.
Atiku was the vice president. We know what his principal said about him, right? This year again, he restated and said, look, everything I said about Atiku is true.
Yes.
So there are also some questions to ask, right? I know Peter Obi came into power as a governor with the same things that we knew he had, and he left with them, right? But if you look at Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the amount of property he amassed in his 8 years as governor and after he left, lots of them belonging to the government of Nigeria. Look at the other man, Atiku, right? How does a retired public servant afford a big business like Intel's or open a university? We see all the stories about how he took a loan and bought his first house and was renting. I know many people that have been into real estate for years. None of them own a university or big or a big company like Intel's, right? So there's a lot of explaining to do when it comes to integrity. Now look at corruption cases in the US. Atiku cannot go to the US. You know, his followers keep saying that Atiku has been there. Right? Yes, he paid lobbyists at the time he was contesting last time to let him come in. And the US saw reason, hey, we don't want to start our relationship with a potential president of Nigeria on a bad foot. So let's allow him come in once. But he can't go to the US on a regular basis. He can't. What about Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Nobody's talking about how he forfeited a total of almost $500,000 to the US government, which was identified by the FBI as proceeds from drug trafficking. So these people have a lot of question marks on their integrity. What about simple things like what primary school did you go to, secondary school, your year of birth, basic information that you will present on your resume if you're going to apply for a job? The person that we want to elect as president can't provide these simple things to us, right?
Permit me to interject there. You mentioned something about integrity, and integrity begets trust.
Yeah.
Because when one is unable to really give credence, okay, to himself, and then give people the right answer to their questions, it becomes difficult for the people to trust such an individual. Do you think that without this trust, okay, that the people of Nigeria are earnestly looking out for, that it will be possible for such candidates to still mobilize Nigerians and non-Nigerians to action and towards getting the country to flourish?
So, there is a big problem that Nigerians have right now, right? And it is not even trust, right? I think it is the inability to trust anybody at this point. So you find a lot
Yes.
of Nigerians stating that Peter Obi is the same as every other politician. Okay? So as far as they're concerned, it's either PDP or APC or maybe Peter Obi. So what they're looking out for is, among these three people, who do we think can win, or who is the lesser of the evils, right? This doesn't come from social media propaganda. It's from years and years of politicians failing to deliver on their promises. We've just gone through 8 years of that, right? We went through how many years of that? 6 years in Goodluck Jonathan's time, right? Obasanjo was one president that delivered on a lot of promises. People began to move back to Nigeria then. Things were improving. But all of those successes were overshadowed by Goodluck Jonathan's years of waste and corruption. And Buhari has put a cap on that. So now people are like, man, like we had a lot of hope before. We came out and supported the candidates and they failed us. Why will Peter Obi be any different? You understand?
Yeah.
They are the enlightened Nigerians who know, who understand what Peter Obi stands for, who are able to, sift through the noise, right? And see Peter Obi for who he truly is. But there's a lot of people that have fallen for all the propaganda, who are unable to form opinions for themselves, right? And so cannot trust, right? This is where we really have to educate people as much as possible, right? I personally, I'm always on WhatsApp groups, trying my best to educate people, even when I get abused, right? But I feel like if people don't know, and I know, it's my job, to educate them as much as I can, right? If I can educate one person
Yeah.
and that person educates one person, then the chain is going to keep growing, right? But if we hear things like, Peter Obi is the same as everybody, or Peter Obi is also corrupt, and we sit and keep quiet, then that negative narrative is going to keep spreading, right? Like they
Yeah.
say, a tree doesn't make a forest. So if each and every one of us here is able to talk to one undecided voter. Now, there's some people that you can never convert. Forget about them, right? We need to target the undecided voters, right? And as per INEC statistics, looking at how many people came out to vote the last time, which was about 30 million out of 69 million in 2015. Now we have 96. Is it 92 million that we have, or 96 million? One of the two, right? But we have a potential 60 million people that have PVCs in their pockets, right? That are not going to vote. Let's assume we can talk to half of those 60 million people, reach out to them and get them to take active part, right? Then I can assume that, we might have enough people who will come out and vote Mr. Peter Obi. On the other hand, the fact that we had 12 million additional registered voters during the last exercise shows that people who did not have a PVC felt the need to rush out and get a PVC because they felt, hey, this is the key to changing my future, right? So I assume that people that have the PVC at home that did not come out last time are going to go and look for those PVCs and come out to vote, right? Honestly, in my circle, I spoke to my dad today. I speak to friends back home in Nigeria. Everybody I speak to says they are voting for Peter Obi. I can assume that other people's families and friends have the same view. People that really care about Nigeria will vote for Peter Obi, except they have something to gain from the other two politicians, right? But there's no reason why anybody who is in our generation, who is below 50 years old now, is going to open their eyes, go to the ballot, and thumbprint PDP or APC, except they have a short memory or have been paid to do so, or someone is pointing a gun at them at the booth and saying, hey, you must vote for my candidate, right? Otherwise, everybody with a free will is going to go to the ballot box, and to me, I think will mostly vote for Mr. Peter Obi.
Yes, thank you. Unless they have short memories. Uche, okay, you can come in here.
Yeah, Nigerians have been, over the years, been manipulated politicians. So, and they still have that mindset like they will not allow him go there. That mindset is also there, and some of them they don't want him. And even they still have the mindset that when a government construct a role like it's that's their job. That's why they're elected, to provide good roads. But it's only in Nigeria that I see or hear that when the governor does keep praising him, you understand? And that mindset I think changed when he said he's coming to serve, employing him to save the country. But for the other candidate, is like it is my right. Like they're actually going there for we to save them. And when I listen to their speech, that's the only thing I get from there. And the fact manipulated over the years that is either APC or PDP. Peter Obi is really, really, really doing a good job to kind of convince people of. We are talking about Labour Party. This is just like 4 months old, national, international stuff. I don't know, politics. They've not been out there when it comes to presidency and others. In less than 4 months, Peter Obi has been able to do this. I have never been, politics has never been, I don't do it. When I just see the news, I just like, the same thing comes, he started his political I have like every minute was going on in politics. I want to see, it's something that I think that's a of mobilization that people that doesn't have interest in politics. Now, country has gone from one worse situation, like we are just there. So that's what I think has the old people, especially the youth, and they are doing a lot of to their parents. I now see some elderly people coming out to say when they keep saying the Labour Party is only for the youth. I kind of watch the rallies. I see other elderly people. Yes, it was at the youth, but now I think it's more than the youth, and even the elderly ones are coming. Obi also brought in this idea of when you are in another party. You understand? We've seen some governors from on their flyer, and then they'll put Peter Obi for president. Why they put them themselves for their own me? I've never seen that kind of thing. Now people are boldly. I am a PDP member, but I am going to vote for Peter Obi. I'm APC, but I'm NNP. These are new things that Peter Obi has brought. Has brought in colors and have given people hope, and this is so fun. If there's anything I want to also comment this, let me just put it APC, or is the fact that Buhari has promised to give us a free, at least if that's the only legacy he can take home. Though we have not expressed it yet, it really happens, but we just pray that these people don't think that, and the election haven't even started. You can see the parties, the I don't know. It's in the way I'm scared. In another way, I'm also kind of like, no, Peter Obi can handle it. But then sometimes, like, this is not only Peter Obi's race. There are other people there, and the only advice right now is that the youth should be wise and be careful. But only advice, they should mobilize mobilize wisely, know where they are going, and to some negative things. And this Arewa visit, I don't know if it's a visit when they ask them question, has also opened the eyes of some of our northern brothers. I got a lot of good response from the that we had with the Arewa people, and that was also a plus. And from the only person that was able to answer questions without reading or teasing, because that's what they are doing now, is Peter Obi, and they should focus on the issue on ground. And that point that I can say Peter Obi is doing, focusing on the main and say it is my turn and say don't vote for this and don't. And I think that is a bad way to base the campaign on. But if they want to go through that lane, because it's only the marketing them, because people are checking now. When you say anything on check if it's true or not, they don't just based on what you said before. And the Tinubu are still running politics the old way they used to. Now with the way INEC is going, the old politics will not work anymore. And advise them to wake up. Let them keep sleeping in that aspect.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mrs. Uche. And again to Brume, who also took time to expatiate on the topic. All right. I am sure that Nigeria would have gotten more with these two narratives and explanations coming from the two of you. I feel like staying longer because when knowledge keeps coming out and we are getting knowledge, we become like Oliver Twist. Okay, where we want some more. We always would want some more because it's something good. If it's not good, we will not feel like staying. However, we must come to an end because this program is for 1 hour. We have contributions, okay, coming from our audience. Okay, somebody said, God bless Peter Obi. Amen. I say amen to that.
Amen.
God bless Peter Obi and God bless all Nigerians. Okay. Now, at the Arewa Forum, something happened there. The executive governor of Kaduna State, His Excellency Malam Nasir El-Rufai, did accuse Peter Obi of arresting and detaining him in 2013 when he came as an official of his party to observe the gubernatorial election in Anambra State. And Peter Obi in response did say that on the said date, himself was in his hometown, Agolo, where he went to cast his vote. That even as a governor, he couldn't leave his immediate vicinity to go down to Oka, and so that he had no hand in whatsoever that happened to Malam El-Rufai on that day. It wasn't long after the social media got awash with an earlier video, okay, which was brought up again, where a younger Malam Nasir El-Rufai was on camera and confirming to the world that he was indeed arrested and detained in his hotel in Oka, the capital city of Anambra State. However, that when he asked the members of the DSS, they confirmed to him that they are acting on the order from Abuja, that the instruction to detain him was from Abuja. Okay, I would think that that has put the accusation to rest. But then Nigerians are saying, Excellency also implies that truth should be coming from a leader. Question is, did El-Rufai forget exactly what happened? Or did he forget that he had earlier on camera confirmed to the world that he was arrested and detained with an order from Abuja and not P2B? How come now he went ahead to mention P2B? Was it deliberate? Or was he just creating an opportunity for P2B to explain himself and to show the world how innocent he is? That's a question and a food for thought. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the show tonight. We have established clearly that Peter Obi is the candidate amongst all that has the right ability to mobilize both human and material resources for the good of this country.
Sorry, Mr. Tilo.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I've been doing very well. Some persons, I think some of our team members they may have one or two contributions that they come in and give. But I don't know if even for them, we should just end the show and keep them for another time. I don't know.
Okay, how many people do we have queuing up?
Okay, well, for now, we don't have any on the queue. We don't have any on the queue.
If we don't have, we might as well go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, just let's end the live for today. Doesn't really. I believe if viewers have heard so much, from us, and
okay.
So our live has ended on Instagram, and I don't intend to do it again. So this is the extra part of this live. It will be reposted Instagram, but live across other channels, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube is still on, and people from there. I want to give you statement on this topic.
Okay, thank you very much.
At home, you're watching Team Peter Obi, Yusuf Dati, a team that is debates against our opposition team. And we have been reviewing our topic from our last debate section where we had people from our team representing us, the person and Mr. Peter Eboje represented us there. And the topic was mobilization for our political parties. And as we all know, that the great pattern of mobilization does not request you sharing money, doesn't request you that is buying or votes, forcing people to vote against their wish, or taking a state of persons and using that as a stand of a mobilization. Mobilization does not require you telling the people lies to go out there and vote you when you know that you are not a credible candidate. In mobilizing in an election, there are standing rules. There are several measures that are put in place by political parties. I won't be speaking about other. I will not be speaking about other political party. I will be speaking about our own political party, Labour Party, whom we are standing on the face of the structure of Nigerians. I'm sure the mobilization pattern is every citizen in Nigeria is to mobilizing people for the upcoming election, because the government that we are about to embrace is a government that the people have a say. The government of Peter Gregory Obi, and our pattern of mobilization, we are through mobilization. We have the house to house, we have the door to door, we have every means of mobilization. And let me tell you the fact: these mobilization patterns are not principal. It is coming from the Nigerians who are tired of all they are going through right now. It is not of spendings in this time as we speak. It's coming from the pocket of Nigerians. who know the true value of that we stand out among the African continent and match up with the European continent. It is interesting. It is interesting. It is interesting to note that it's a great nation, and we love to see all Nigerians in the future built by our principal along with you and I. So as Nigerians, start and begin to tell your door neighbors, go into your villages, your brothers and sisters, explain to them facts they need to know. Tell them the truth about this country, and do not allow them to fall into the of those mobilizing as a way of bribing them against their wish for good governance. This is my little song. God bless you all, Nigerians, and thank you for the opportunity given to tell you this.
Yeah, thank you, Obinna. That was it. Okay, to add to that, remember, when you go to vote, the logo you should look out for is Papa, Mama, and Pikin. When you vote correctly, you vote for Peter Obi. And do also remember, you vote for all Labour parties candidates in all the seats that will be out, both the senatorial, the House of Representatives, the governorship, and then the House of Assembly. As they come up, please vote for Labour Party. We need to change this country because we have seen people who can do the job, and those are the people that Labour Party are bringing forward. Thank you for being with us tonight. Remember to join us again on Saturday by 9 p.m. for our guest appearance. We are expecting to have interesting session with one of the senatorial candidates in Edo State, and he will be discussing politics as it is today, what various parties are doing currently, where they are, and then also what's our principle for the presidential election Peter will be doing in conjunction with those of them who will be in the parliament as to bring out enabling laws for the transformation of this country. So join us. It's going to be an interesting session. Do not miss it. You wouldn't want to miss it either. Mrs. Cho, you have something to say before we close?
Yes, thank you. And this is for all the parties that involve, all of them, is that please follow us. Let no one be involved in violence. Do not anybody. Do not kill yourself for any politician. Destroy any properties. Just go there, cast your vote. Allow political parties to go on the rally free and without violence. We started yet, we're beginning to see some, violence in these things. So let us work and make sure we get a new government next year. Violence is not the option. Do not engage in any, and do not take also politicians, and do not allow your life to be taken because of any politician. They meet themselves somewhere, they laugh, they shake hands, they eat, they go, children marry themselves, they go to good schools. So you the poor people, are the ones fighting and killing yourself for them. So please disengage yourself and let us get a good government next year. And this is for all political parties, because there's no party that is not involved in this. Okay, so please focus and be determined. And when you cast your vote, stay there and if you see anything that is not right, report got it to the right people. Thank you. And please like, comment, and share so much.
Thank you. Like, comment, and share this page with all your contacts. It has been Team Peter Obi Live, reaching you. With me tonight, we are Rume, Obinna, and Mrs. Uche. I remain your good friend and compatriot, Tochukwu Ilo. Thank you, and see you on Saturday at 9 p.m. Have a good night rest.